Hi, and welcome back for week 6. This is our official last week together. Y'all will have a different assignment last week that kind of more like the very first assignment we did whenever we first started all of this online learning. So we'll go ahead and get started. This week we are talking about finding the area of rectangles, parallelograms, trapezoids, and triangles. So I will go through each of these slides with you. And then after I go through a slide and we work it out, we will then go over and answer a separate question, but it'll be the same as what we just talked about. Okay, so the first one we are going to do is finding the area of a rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over here to Jamboard. So on Jamboard, I'm just going to kind of draw out what I would do if I was working out this problem. So the formula for finding the area, sorry, I probably should have done that first. You'll notice down here the formula for finding the area of a rectangle is the base B times the height H. Now, it doesn't really matter, so to say, which one's the base and which one's the height. It really just depends on what the shape is sitting on. Right now, the shape is sitting on what would also be 13 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and work this out. So my base is this 13 inches because that's really what the rectangle is sitting on. And then I'm going to multiply that by my height, which is 7. So when I do 13 times 7, I get 91. So it's going to be 91 inches squared. So going back over into our notes, just kind of type back up what we did. We took 13 and we multiplied that by 7. And when we did that, we got 91 inches squared. And I can't do the square on here, so that 2 just means squared, which means we multiplied 2 different dimensions together. 13 being the base and 7 being the height. Those are each dimensions. And so that 2, and over here in the Jamboard, you realize it looks like an exponent. That is because we multiplied 2 different dimensions, a base and a height together. So that's why we do that. Okay, so you are now going to find the area of a rectangle on your own. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is find the area of a parallelogram. You will notice that the formula is the exact same. It is area equals base times height. Now, the difference here is that the height is, it's going to be what runs from one base to the opposite base. So here's a base and here's a base. So it is going to be what runs between those two bases. So I don't need this 10 right here. My height is the distance that runs from one base to the other. So my formula is area equals base times height. My base is going to be this 12, and I'm going to multiply that by 8, which is my height here. This is my height. So when I do that, 12 times 8 is 96. And again, 2 dimensions that I multiplied together. So that is going to be centimeters squared. So go back to our notes so we can get this typed in. I did my base, which was 12, times my height, which was 8. And that got me 96 centimeters squared. Okay, so that's how you find the area of a parallelogram. Remember, this is your height, the distance that runs from one base to another base. All right. Here we are finding the area of a trapezoid. So The formula looks a little tricky. It's really not that bad. It is the area equals base 1 plus base 2 multiplied by the height, and then I'm going to take half of that. I'm going to divide that by 2. And so I explained what all this is down here. B1 just means one of the bases. It does not matter which one you choose. Either one of these could be B1, and either one of these could be B2. Okay, so let's go over here and work it out. I'm going to write my formula, and this is going to be base 1 plus base 2 times the height, and I'm going to divide all of that at the end by 2. This is very important. If you don't do that step, you'll get it wrong. Okay, so again, you notice that inside of the shape is the height. So your height again is going to run from base 1 to base 2. Okay, that is going to, this diagonal is not going to give you the height. Okay, so that 9 you're not even going to use. Just like when we did a parallelogram, you did not use the diagonal. You used the line that was inside of the shape. This actually gives me the height of that shape. Okay, so base 1, I'm just going to use 5. You can, and like I said, it does not matter. Base 2 is 11. And you notice I'm just replacing all of these with these numbers. My height is 11. No, I'm sorry. My height is 10. Sorry. And then I'm going to divide all of that by 2. Okay. So I'm just going to box what I do first. Always do your parentheses first. So that is 5 plus 11 is 16. I'm going to multiply that by 10. And then I'm going to divide by 2. So my next step, multiply 16 times 10. And that is 160. My last step, divide by 2. So the area of this trapezoid is 80. And again, because we're finding area, I know there's more than 2 numbers in this one, but you're still multiplying 2 dimensions. You're multiplying a base and a height. And because of that, you still say meters squared because it's area. So let's come back over here, walk through it again. I did base 1, 5, plus base 2, 11. I then multiplied that by 10, and then I end up dividing by 2. So I'm going to underline the steps that I take first. So step 1 is 5 plus 11 inside the parentheses. Always do inside the parentheses first. So 5 plus 11 is 16. I'm going to multiply that by 10 and then divide by 2. So I'm just rewriting everything after I do a step. So my next step here is to multiply 16 times 10. And that is 160. And then my last step was to divide by 2. So area is 80 meters squared. And again, I can't do the squared. So that's how you find the area of a trapezoid. Remember, your height is what is inside of the shape. Runs from one base to another base. Okay? It is what connects the bases. All right, now we're going to find the area of just a regular triangle. You notice you've got, again, the formula is area equals base times height divided by 2. But with the height, again, you're looking inside the shape. Again, the diagonal is not your height. The height is going to be inside the shape. This is what gives me the true height from this point to the base. So let's go to Jamboard. Okay, so again, this is not your height. It is going to be inside the shape. I can't stress that enough. The height is inside the shape. So my formula here is base times height divided by 2. That is how I'm finding the area of a triangle. So My base here is 14. I'm going to multiply that by 12 and then divide that by 2. So 14 times 12 is 168. So I'm going to do 168. So I did 14 times 12. That's how I got this. And I'm going to divide that by 2. So 168 divided by 2 is 84. And again, more than two numbers, but you're taking a base and a height. So that's two dimensions and multiplied those together. And so that is why you have your exponent right there. So your area is 84 millimeters squared. All right, so let's go back over here. I had my area and I took my base, which was 14, and multiplied that by the height, 12. And then I'm going to divide all of that by 2. When I multiplied 14 times 12, that gave me 168. And then I had to divide by 2. And when I divided by 2, that gave me 84 millimeters squared. Okay, you're going to go find the area of a triangle. And again, remember your height is inside the triangle. Inside the triangle. Okay, last one. Finding the area of a right triangle. So this one is a right triangle because you notice that this leg of the triangle and this leg, when they meet, they form a right angle. So therefore, we call it a right triangle. It has the same exact formula, though, but you have to be careful because they will put a third measurement here. And this third measurement, you see I have this arrow drawn. This is to show you that this 5 feet is not the height of the triangle. I can't stress that enough. It is not the height of the triangle. You can use 4 or you can use 3. It doesn't matter. But yeah. Okay. 4 or 3 can be the height. It doesn't matter which one. You just pick. But it is not going to be 5. It is not going to be the side that is across from the square. Okay. So my formula is base times height divided by 2. So I'm just going to use my base as, I'll say it's 3. And I am multiplying that by 4. And then dividing all of that by 2. So step 1, multiply 3 times 4. And when I do that, I get 12. And I'm going to take 12 and divide that by 2. And so my area is 6. And again, base and height, that is 2 dimensions. So it is feet squared. Okay. So let's come back over here and get that typed in. So I did 3 times 4 divided by 2. That is my base times my height. And then I did 3 times 4. And that gave me 12. And then I took 12 and divided that by 2, which gave me 6 feet squared. Okay. So now you are going to find the area of a right triangle on your own. Also at the end, or not at the end, sorry, but during this video and while you're answering these questions, don't forget all of this is in Google Classroom. So you can have this open while you're watching the video and go back and forth between the video, the questions, and your notes. And then you notice at the bottom of all of these slides, you have access to the Jamboard where I did all this work. So you can go back and look and see what I did to get that answer. And that will help you too. So I hope y'all do well. I sure miss y'all. I can't believe this is our last lesson together. That's so crazy. And then y'all are going to be 7th graders. That's awesome. I've had such a fun year with y'all. Y'all are such great kids. I wish y'all nothing but the best. And I hope y'all have the most amazing summer ever. I love you guys. I hate that this year ended this way. But y'all are wonderful. And so I couldn't have asked for a better group of 6th graders. So I hope y'all have a great day, a great week, and a great summer, because this is it for me. I'm signing off. Y'all take care, and I will hopefully talk to y'all soon.